Imagine sitting in a laboratory at midnight. No voices. No music. Just the steady, rhythmic hum of massive computers breathing in the dark. Everything seems normal. Until it isn't. Deep in the static of the cosmos, something catches. Not random noise. Not a glitch. But a signal so perfectly structured. It feels intelligent. For exactly 72 seconds, the universe stops being silent. It's a burst of energy from the stars, a message hitting our world with impossible intensity. And then, in the blink of an eye, it vanishes forever. One man, Jerry Ehman, stares at the data in disbelief. He circles the code, grabs a red pen, and writes a single word that would haunt science for decades: wow. Did we just hear from the other? Or was it the last echo of a dying world? This is the mystery of the WOW signal. The year was 1977. At Ohio State University, a massive radio telescope known as the Big Ear was doing something incredible. It was listening to the silent whispers of the cosmos, searching for a sign that we aren't alone. On August 15th, astronomer Jerry Ehman was reviewing the computer printouts when his eyes locked onto a strange sequence: 6E, Q, U, J5. This wasn't just random noise. In the language of radio telescopes, these characters represent signal intensity. Most signals are weak, just ones and twos. But this? It scaled up through the alphabet. That U in the middle? That was the peak. It was 30 times stronger than the background noise of deep space. It was literally off the charts. But here's the kicker: the signal hit exactly at 1420 MHz. That's the hydrogen line, the natural frequency of the most common element in the universe. Scientists always predicted that if an alien civilization wanted to say hello, this is the channel they'd use. Stunned, Ehman grabbed a red pen, circled the sequence, and wrote a single word in the margin: wow. And just like that, the greatest mystery in the history of SETI was born. Since that summer night in 1977, we haven't stopped looking. For nearly half a century, astronomers have turned our most powerful ears toward the constellation Sagittarius, scanning the exact coordinates of the WOW signal with obsessive precision. We've used the VLA, the Hubble, and even the most advanced satellite arrays. But the sky remains silent. The math is discouraging. Some astronomers argue that even if that signal came from a biological source, the distances involved are so vast that a response is impossible. If the signal traveled 200 light-years to reach us, any reply we sent today wouldn't be heard by them until the year 2226. We are shouting into a canyon where the echo takes centuries to return. But there is a more haunting fear. What if it wasn't a constant broadcast? What if it was a beacon, a lighthouse that only sweeps past Earth once every 1,000 years? If that's the case, we didn't just find a mystery. We may have missed our only window of contact in the entire history of our species. We caught a glimpse of the other, and then the door slammed shut. When you watch time lapses of these massive observatories in the high desert, moving slowly under the weight of the Milky Way, you realize how small we are. We are a fragile civilization on a tiny blue marble, desperate to find a reason to believe we aren't drifting through this infinite darkness alone. As soon as the WOW signal went public, the scientific community scrambled. This wasn't just a blip on a screen, it was a crisis of understanding. The first priority? Prove it wasn't aliens. Scientists looked for every possible natural explanation to debunk the mystery. One popular theory suggested that two passing comets, Christensen and Gibbs, might have been the culprits. Astronomers wondered if the vast clouds of hydrogen gas trailing behind these comets could have emitted a radio burst. It seemed like a solid lead. But there was a glaring problem: those comets weren't even in that part of the sky when the signal was recorded. Others argued it was just cosmic noise or a reflection from a secret military satellite. But the WOW signal was too clean. It was narrowband, perfectly focused, and lacked the messiness of human-made interference or natural stellar explosions. It sat exactly at the 1420 MHz frequency, a frequency protected by international law to be kept clear for astronomy. Then, there's the mystery of the timing, 72 seconds. Because of how the Big Ear telescope was built, its window of observation for any fixed point in the sky lasted exactly 72 seconds. The signal followed this window perfectly. It grew in intensity for 36 seconds, peaked, and faded for 36 seconds as the Earth rotated. This proves the signal came from a fixed point in deep space, not a moving plane or a satellite. It was as if something was waiting for us to look its way. And the moment we turned our heads, it vanished. If it was natural, why hasn't it happened again? If it was a message, why did they stop sending it? Now, close your eyes and imagine the implications. For decades, we've looked at the WOW signal as a data point, a sequence of numbers on a page. But what if we shift our perspective? What if that 72-second burst was never meant to be a mystery? What if it was a desperate attempt to be heard? Think about the possibilities. Could it have been a warning? A final, frantic transmission from a distant civilization facing its own extinction? Or perhaps it was a greeting, a cosmic hello sent by a species so advanced that we lacked the basic sensory tools to even begin decoding their language. We heard the sound, but we couldn't understand the words. There is a darker theory. The ghost signal. Because light and radio waves take thousands of years to travel across the void, by the time that signal reached Jerry Ehman's telescope in 1977, the world that sent it might have already been gone. We could be listening to the last, fading echoes of a civilization that turned to dust centuries ago. The universe is unimaginably, terrifyingly vast. 2 trillion galaxies. Each galaxy holding billions of stars. Each star orbited by even more planets. In that infinite ocean of fire and stone, the law of probability tells us we cannot be alone. But the WOW signal highlights a much scarier truth: being alone is one thing. Being ignored is another. Maybe we aren't alone. Maybe the universe is actually crowded, and we are simply not yet ready to comprehend the answer. We are like ants trying to understand a symphony. Hearing the vibrations, but blind to the music. The WOW signal isn't just a cold piece of data in a dusty archive. It's a mirror. It reflects our deepest hope and our greatest fear, that we are part of a cosmic community, but one so vast that we may never truly touch it. For 72 seconds, the silence of the universe was broken. The cosmos reached out. And then, just as quickly, it withdrew its hand. We may never know the truth. Was it a celestial hello from a neighbor? Or were we witnessing the final, lonely broadcast of a world long dead? Perhaps it was just a fleeting secret of physics we have yet to name. But the silence that followed is what haunts us. It reminds us that the night sky isn't just a ceiling of lights, it's an ocean of secrets, silent and terrifyingly deep. So, the next time you find yourself away from the city lights, look up. Really look. Remember that among those billions of stars, there are eyes that might be watching, and messages that might be traveling through the void right now, waiting for a fleeting 72-second window to reveal themselves. We are the listeners. And as long as we keep listening, the mystery stays alive. The universe is far too big to explore alone. If you want to keep diving into the deepest mysteries of space and the anomalies that defy explanation, hit that subscribe button and join us here at Cosmic Vault. I've pinned a question in the comments: do you think the WOW signal was a message, or just a glitch? Let's discuss it below. Until next time, keep watching the skies.